And welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Migwe, and we are glad that you are watching KBC Channel 1 this morning. Now, let's talk about matters of access to justice, bringing legal aid closer to community, given that the State Department for Justice, the National Legal Aid Service is launching a legal aid center at Kenol. And for that conversation, joined by Honorable Judith Pareno, who is a PS, State Department for Justice, Human Rights and Constitutional Affairs. Welcome to Good Morning Kenya.
Good morning to you.
How are you doing this morning?
Very well.
Yes. Matters of access to justice, a very important conversation. Because when you look at justice, it should be available to every Kenyan, regardless of their income, age, education, or even location. Talk to us about the National Legal Aid Service first.
The National Legal Aid Service is an institution that is placed under the State Department of Justice, Human Rights and Constitutional Affairs.
Yes. It
came into being pursuant to the provision of the Constitution of Kenya that actually it's supposed to implement the promise and the dreams that the Constitution of Kenya has provided by providing that every Kenyan is entitled to the right to access to justice. So to implement that, the National Legal Aid Service came into being. It is under the State Department where I head. And it is meant to give free access to legal aid for people who are the indigent, the very poor, the very marginalized people, those that cannot afford access. So that is where we are. We are providing legal aid. We have state councils. The Honorable my department is under the Honorable Attorney General's office. So the Honorable Attorney General has employed, my office has employed 98 state councils, 2 per county, so that they are able to give access to justice to those that are really needy, those that cannot afford. So the state, to realize the provisions of the Constitution, has brought up a system under the National Legal Aid Service to give them free access to justice. It is paying for those that are not able to pay for themselves. That is why the State Council is there to help those that are not able. So what did we do? We came up with a simplified way of accessing the Center for Justice. Remember, most of the times the courts are so congested, the courts a bit intimidating to that very poor person. They don't know how to access. So we have placed, now the one we are doing tomorrow in Kenol in Muranga is a container. So we have placed containers in a place that is accessible to the people. A simple container where you just walk in, you find a state council there, you find service there. It has green energy, so we are not spending on lighting because we have the initial cost has been spent, and we have had some of our partners coming in to help us to do that container in a way that is so friendly, in a way that is so accessible, in a way that is kitted with a laptop where a state council is able to access the court and do virtual hearings and do virtual meetings, helping that person who has walked in to ask for justice. So right now we have two state councils per county, but we have others are already in other buildings that belong to government and the Office of the Attorney General. But we now are rolling out the containers with the help of some partners, so that then we place it in accessible. The first one we did was in Machakos.
Yes. Then
we did another one in Kitui. Then we did another one in Kibra. In fact, the Kibra one is within Kibra law courts, but by just the side of the law courts. And tomorrow, we did the Nakuru one. In Nakuru, we actually did it in the premises near the entrance of the Nakuru Maximum Prison, so that the prisoners who are also not able to defend themselves, those that are in there and they are in remand and they need legal aid, can walk in and be assisted for free. And then now we are doing the one in Kenol. Why is the Kenol one very important for us? Del Monte, Kenya has had a lot of issues with human rights violations. So we partnered because we realized that they're trying to do justice by having what they call social centers, social justice centers. Yes. So when we met to launch some mechanism, grievance mechanism for people to be able to develop a mechanism through which their employees, they employ a lot of people, and there were allegations about human rights violations. So they are trying to address this. So we told them, you are doing social justice centers. The State Department of Justice is doing legal aid clinics. That is one and the same thing. So we said, why don't we partner together to help you come out strongly on issues of addressing any grievances that have to do with violations of human rights. So tomorrow we are going to do a model that we have not done before. A model of opening a social, and our Honorable Attorney General will be the chief guest. And a model where the business community, that is a business entity, Del Monte, Kenya, has come out to say, yes, we'll clean up any issues to do with the rights of the people who work with us. Any violations of human rights that have alleged to have been violated. We have created a way that we can receive the complaints, they be heard, they be screened and verified for them to be able to get a remedy. So you own up and say, yes, there could have been something that we can address in as far as violations of human rights are concerned. So this person is able to access justice by walking into that legal aid center, stroke the social justice center, and get assisted by a lawyer and get assisted by a state counsel who has been employed by the state, and we help them get out of the problem of violations of access to justice by the people, or violations of human rights. Why is it important? The world is shifting. The world is now looking at human rights as a component of business. So early in the year, we developed a business framework for people to be able to adhere to a framework, a standard of how to operate business and human rights. You cannot do business now while violating human rights. You must adhere to human rights. You adhere to access to justice to that person, so that then at the end of the day, you do clean business. So this model is bringing together the private business entity and bringing together Haki Africa, which is a civil society organization, and the Office of the Attorney General, that is the Office of the Attorney General in the State Department of Justice. So that then, for once, we have government, civil society, and a business entity coming to do work together to display the best of access to justice, to display the best of human rights compliance, and addressing any grievances in the best way that we can through the mechanism that we did launch with them early this year. Yes.
And when it comes to matters of access to justice, different parts of the country experience disputes ranging from land disputes, family conflicts, labor disagreements, and even GBV. From where you stand, how does these legal aid centers now change how these disputes are handled without really 100% relying on courts?
The legal aid center is designed to help that person who is needy. So it's not just any land dispute. It's not just any GBV case, but it is a legal aid center to give guidance to help that person access justice or represent that person in court. For the very poor, remember, we cannot give aid to all Kenyans. So Kenya has started by, actually it's written, it is provided in the Constitution, give legal aid to the ones who cannot afford. So let's first start with that vetting criteria. The person who walks in. Remember, a Kenyan will go to any legal aid center not knowing that it is meant for the very poor. So it will be received, they'll be channeled to the right directions, but those ones that qualify, those ones that are very poor, there is a criteria to receive them.
Talk about that criteria.
Yes, there is a criteria to receive them. They'll do some background check. They will ask you some interview for them to know the kind of person that you are. Remember, normally, like the probation reports in court, they normally have to find a way of knowing how your family is, so that they know how you're able, even your academic status and whether you have a job, you know, so that at the end of the day, the person we are providing legal aid for is that needy, is that person who is unable to defend themselves.
Which means you'll be working together with the local administration.
Yes, there is a way you will be able to, because when you want, like normally when you do that probation report, you normally go to the chief, ask about how the person is, then you interview the family. At the end of the day, you will be able to get and interview the person, and you will be able to know the kind of person you're dealing with. So legal aid and these legal aid centers are meant for access to justice to those that cannot afford, so that then they are not left behind, because the Constitution has guaranteed the right to access to justice for everybody. So that is what we are rolling out, and we hope that in due course we will be able to be running in all the counties. The state councils are there, still settling down. They are still housed in other buildings. Some are within the court premises, but we hope that at the end of the day, the National Legal Aid Service is able to do it. Now, remember the pro bono briefs. The pro bono briefs are normally done by volunteer lawyers, and then the court system is the one that has been running the pro bono briefs. Anybody who has committed a capital offense, murder, there has to be a counsel. So normally it cannot start until a state counsel is there, or until somebody provides for legal service. That is also a mandate of the National Legal Aid Service. So we are working with the judiciary, the chief registrar of the judiciary, and the chief justice is aware. We are working on how over time the National Legal Aid Service will take over that service, so that they continue giving service for free, paid for by government, for those that cannot afford, those that are facing very serious crimes like murder, who cannot defend themselves.
And time is of essence when it comes to matters of justice. When we talk about that criteria and verification, or to decide if this person qualifies for this legal aid, what duration are we talking about?
In terms of?
In terms of verifying that this person is a needy person and they need legal aid.
There is you just walk in and there is a form for you to start filling. So once you fill, then the people are able to remember, court processes take long. So probably today it's a mention, the next day it's a hearing, it is part heard, it is not heard fully. So of course there is the first vetting to allow you to come in, and then for them to go on and check your background. But it should be like you walking in and you'll be heard on the spot. Because first of all, you must be heard. That is the first right for lawyers, the right to be heard. So I'm sure everybody who walks in that legal aid is first heard before you even sample out as to how you're going to help. Remember, they'll walk in with all sorts of issues. There is a time we were doing some policy, and they raised issues of SHA, and we were able to direct them to SHA. They raised issues on land, and you're able to direct them to land. But then there are those that now you see they belong to the legal aid, and you're able to walk in and help them.
How is this going to change the perception that even Kenyans have towards matters of access to justice? Because sometimes the costs is one of the things that maybe make them refrain away from seeking matters of...
That is actually telling them that government is playing its part to ensure that that cost is met by government, by giving you a lawyer for the ones who are not able to afford. But again, we are also devolving decentralization of the Attorney General's services. So in you having for the first time an office in every county to listen to the people on matters access, that is in itself is a decentralization of the service, taking the services nearer to the people. Remember, let me give you an example of some of the services. Other than other things, the Attorney General has also decentralized issues to do with marriage, You know, you used to come all the way to Sharia House to do a civil marriage.
Yeah.
It is now being done in our counties.
Yes.
So the cost of coming all the way is already gone. The cost of traveling and looking for people is already gone. Plus now the actual cost of doing a case has been met by government for those that are poor, and the national legal ladies are doing it. I don't want us to lose focus about tomorrow. Tomorrow is a model between Del Monte, Kenya, Haki Africa, and Office of the Attorney General, State Department of Justice, coming together to do a legal aid center, social justice center, to bring people in business, those that feel that their rights are not violated while in the business environment, can come and have their grievances addressed. So we are doing a model that we can duplicate everywhere else if it works for both civil society, the business entity, and the government. So government has come in. Remember, this business is ours. It belongs to Kenyans. It's Kenyans who are working there. It says if it falls, then we lose a lot of jobs. But can we also allow a business to violate the access to justice or violate the human rights? No. That's why Del Monte Kenya has come out to partner with us to say we are ready to face it and see where violations have occurred and address it. And we have a center where anybody who has had issues can walk in and be able to. So tomorrow is a major one for us. It's a model we are coming up with where, do you remember civil society normally is bashing government every day? And I keep telling them, come, don't be afraid to bash us where you think we can make corrections. But I tell them, while I make corrections, help me make those corrections. Because you are also a Kenyan. Civil society is Kenya. Government is Kenya. The business is Kenya. So come, let's correct it together. So this is one model where we have come together to say, let us address the human rights issues, access to justice issues together and send the right message to the country.
Beyond Del Monte and Haki Africa, are you looking forward to working with other players within the private sector in matters that regard access to justice?
Yes, we are already doing a lot together. GIZ, IJM. We have so many people that have come to help us. We have areas of interest. So at some point you find we converge and we are discussing the same thing. But this is one area where we have now come out to say, can it be a model? Model means others can come up and help us do the same thing in different places. And we already have a lot of partners that we are working with.
Yes.
But we are starting on this business and human rights. We are starting with Del Monte. Remember, the policy and framework on business and human rights that we launched around February this year is the first in Africa. So we're already doing good. The first to be launched in Africa. So we are saying, if this is the way to go, to make our businesses human right compliant, then we have done a framework and policy that is guiding us. Then being the leader in doing this, we must do it right so that then we can replicate. So that's another one that needs to be taken into account.
And as you have said, the center promises legal representation, legal advice, and even improved access to justice. And beyond the number of people served, are there indicators that will determine that the center has genuinely improved justice outcome, regardless of where it's?
Yes, it is. We have very good, I don't have the statistics, but we have very good returns in Kibra. The moment we launched, people were flocking in, asking for questions and asking on how they can be guided. The other day I was in Kajiado and some told me, oh, when we heard you talking about legal aid, we actually accessed services and have been sorted out.
Yes.
A simple widow who did not even know how to get shares of her dead husband and went in there and didn't even require any court procedures. Just walked in, and within no time she was guided on what to do and did it. And the other day I was surprised when she was telling me I was sorted because I walked into a legal aid center. The same to Machakos. When we were there, they walked in and said, oh, I have had a problem with my land matter, and this is what my issue is. You give, some of them is as simple as lack of information. So we are giving information, and directing them in the right direction, and they're able to be attended. So we have already gotten returns. Next time I come here, I'll be able to give you the statistics of who has worked in each of these legal aid centers and what the success of it all. But just the fact that we've been able to reach the county, we've been able to bring it closer to the people, that now we are addressing it in a way that they should know it exists, because some of them still don't know that these legal aid centers exist. So we are doing civic education, awareness campaigns, like I'm doing now, for people to know that there is a legal aid center in your county. Please go there. If you are a person who is of no means, if you are a person who has not been able to access justice, you will be able to be guided.
And this is going to be established in all the 47 counties?
Yes.
Now, yes, they will be established at that level. And since that they'll be serving the underprivileged, are there plans, future plans of going even further to go at the constituency level? Because when it comes to access to justice and making sure that people that are targeted get it, are there plans to go even further to the constituency level?
There is always a start. This is just a start. You can imagine initially everything was in Nairobi.
Nairobi, yes.
We have decentralized to the counties. If we had budgets, we would even decentralize right into where every chief sits. Remember, the Kenyan people, if you ask them today, do you know where your chief is? There is no single Kenyan who doesn't know where the chief is. There is no single Kenyan who does not know the nearest. They even know their chiefs by name. Hakuna no Kenyan. So if you could take this to the chief,
yes,
I can assure you it will have reached home.
Yeah.
But look at the budgets of it. I must say, government has given the budget. I am the accounting officer, so I know the budget is there, but it is not enough. We still need, as we progress, to see how we can finally have it as low as the constituencies is possible. If it were for me, I would take it right to the chief's place. And then my mom and your mom and everybody can just walk there. Yeah. But it is tied to a budget, because you can't have state councils right at every chief's place. Like in this country, we have 1,450 wards. Suppose we were to do that.
Let's take a short break.
Can we afford 1,400 offices in each ward?
Yes.
Maybe in future. I don't believe we don't. As a country, we made a lot of progress in a lot of things. But not now.
Yes. Let's take a short break. We'll come back to continue with this conversation that regards access to justice. Stay with us. Access to justice for all. That is what we are talking about right here on KBC Channel 1 with the Honorable Judith Pareno, who is the PS State Department for Justice, Human Rights and Constitutional Affairs. Now, the center, the Legal Aid Center that you are launching tomorrow in Kenol, and pegging on the Legal Aid Act, which has existed for quite some time, close to a decade now, are there lessons that can be derived from it, given that given the kind of legal needs that this center will be addressing? Are there lessons that can be inferred from the Legal Aid Act?
Some of the lessons that we can draw from the Legal Aid Act is that our constitution is a good constitution. Our constitution has provided for a lot of things, but we still have a lot of things to implement. You can imagine the Legal Aid Act has existed, but that impact has not been as much as it should be. So not having been able to actualize that act in good time, I'm not saying that this is the time they have just actualized it. I found the secretary is already there. But this is the time government has given a budget. Actually, I was given about 180 million, about 200 million for purposes of recruitment. So this is the time we are recruiting at the National Legal Aid Service, yet it has been there for a decade. So it means successive governments had not really put in that budget for it to exist. So some of these organizations and institutions are very good, but that life has to be given.
Yes.
That budget has to be given. It is now that I've been able to get a budget to fully have the legal aid service now do employment, recruit, more than that, not the 98 state councils. Those ones we already did. This is recruitment of the secretary itself, the entire body, the structure. This is the time their structure has been approved, a decade after. So what are we learning? That our constitution provided, but we are falling short. We had fallen short of implementing our constitution in some areas, which is what this government is now running to implement areas of our constitution. The legal aid service is finally going to be actualized through recruitment, through posting of state councils, through opening of offices, through budgets. That's one lesson. Two, there might be a need for us to keep auditing our constitution, to see, because that calls for auditing, to see which provisions of the constitution have not been implemented. Because even the one on minority and marginalized, right now for me, I'm going for a minority and marginalized activity. Has it been implemented? It is only this year, no, last year on 18th of December, that we launched a policy on the marginalized and minority and ethnic minorities of this country. Because it has to be actualized. Again, that one is one that had been forgotten. So we need to, it has reminded us that we overlooked for some time, probably because of budget constraints or what, or policies, to implement certain areas of this constitution that is so robust and good and needed to have been implemented for everybody to be comfortable in this country. So those are some of the lessons I've drawn from what we are doing right now with the National Legal Aid Service.
And speaking of matters of sustainability, you know, sometimes many programs are launched, but they struggle with sustainability due to funding and sometimes staffing complaints. Are there measures to ensure that these centers, especially the one you're launching tomorrow in Kenol, remain operational and effective, say 10 years from now?
Yes. Now look at it this way. The one we are launching is a container. No rent to be paid. No electricity because it is solar powered, green energy, less of cost. You have state councils employed by the government. Yes. State council is a permanent and pensionable state council. So, and then now we have the service itself. I've just told you I've gotten a budget for full operations of the service. So it is a body that is in existence. I'm not saying it is pursuant to a law, an act of parliament, to actualize the constitution. So that is something that is not about to go. And I'm sure this is something that before it was given all these inclusive of budgets, the sustainability bit has been looked into. So the legal aid service is something that should not and will not suffer any injury because it is for our people. And then this is actually something that should not ever fail because this is a way to bring up those that are left behind in this country so that then we are at the same level. If you continue leaving the poor in access to justice, then we are not moving in the right direction. So I am not seeing non-sustainability plus the containers we are doing are in themselves, sustaining themselves. When you do that container, it lasts as long. When you do green energy, we always have God has given us good sun, maybe just a little bit of maintenance. And then, of course, the state councils are permanent and pensionable. Then there is, of course, the usual other things that we are doing. They are accrediting paralegals. Accreditation in itself is a source of income. So there is a way we are working to accredit people for them to be able to give that service on accreditation, and you're able to also get more resources into the basket. Yes.
And also, you know, the center also, you seek to work closely with social justice centers, especially in a county like Murang'a, because Kenol is in Murang'a. In practical terms, how do you see this partnership improving the journey of someone seeking justice compared to the existing referral systems?
Partnerships are good because, as I told you, we at this time wanted to partner with civil society. And like Haki Africa,
yes,
the other day we had an engagement and they have 100 social justice centers serving the people. And we are also learning from them, by the way. While they also learn, we learn from each other. We exchange. And at the end of the day, we are able to see where we go wrong as government, and we're also able to see where they can go wrong as civil society. But on this particular one, it's about partnering with the business community. Why? Because the world order right now is that for you to do good business, you must be human rights compliant. You must allow people to have justice. You must address any violations on the human rights issues. So that's why we are coming out so strongly to make sure that Kenya is compliant on matters human rights and business, so that then our business can prosper internationally. So that partnership is definitely required, and we are looking forward to a lot of other partnerships. We have had a lot of engagements to ensure that this comes to be. And remember, access to justice is a provisional, it's provided for as a right under the Bills of Rights in our Constitution. So it's primary, it's a primary right.
Yes.
Yeah, and it is of right.
Yeah.
So we should not be begging for that. It should be provided. Then it is a burden of government to provide. And that is why government has come out to provide.
It's for everyone.
Yes.
Even the vulnerable groups. And the legal aid, they prioritize, you have prioritized the vulnerable within the community, even the marginalized and also the indigent persons. And vulnerability takes many forms. How does these centers ensure that these realities are reflected in the services that they are providing?
I told you there is the vetting for you to know the realities of who is coming in. I even told you that I know, because we go around now, and my department has a mandate on civic education and awareness and campaigns on human rights, anti-corruption and all those things, as well as long as the constitutional provisions and national values and principles. While we go around, a citizen walks in, and the citizen does not know that in this legal aid center, I cannot bring up this matter.
Yes.
They bring up all sorts of issues and matters. So for us, it is to sort it out, because somebody walks in and says, there's one that told us that in Turkana there is a problem of young girls being married away. All these issues. So in fact, this has opened up an open door to access government.
Yes.
Because you will access. We will not turn you away and say, no, you are not vulnerable. We will hear you and then direct you. I've directed people to the National Land Commission. They come and they bring an issue, you take it to the National Land Commission. Another one comes and you're able to guide them that, please, you need a lawyer to follow you on this one. It could be a court case that is already existing. And you can see this person is able, you just guide them. So we cover all these issues, but then sort them out as and when you receive them. But this being a government institution, you don't turn people away. You simply redirect them where supposed to be and receive the ones that are meant to be handled by the National Legal Aid Service. So it is all covered in the way we address them.
And justice, access to justice is linked to economic development within the country, even public confidence and social cohesion. Now, how does strengthening legal aid contribute to these broader national goals?
The broader national goals of economic empowerment. Let me first confirm that it is in itself an empowerment, first of all, because this person comes in and you're able to empower this person to know how to fight for their rights in the first place. So you'll find that most of the people, as I educate people around and have been running around in the counties on civic education, you'll find a lot of widows will walk in. You'll find a lot of issues of children. Yesterday we visited the Likoni remand home and saw how they're handling children there. So you'll find a lot of issues that at the end of the day run to the national values that we believe in and fairness for everybody, you know, and the chapter on human rights, irrespective of who you are and everybody. So at the end of the day, it brings cohesion. Look at, you've talked about cohesion.
Yes.
Look at the Del Monte activity that we're handling tomorrow. It's about violations of human rights.
Yeah.
It's about the community around that business entity. It's about those who are working, feeling dissatisfied and being violated. And now we have brought a system to help them sort out these cases. In fact, they already had started on their social justice centers to hear them, those that are complaining, what are the violations, and to address the violations, inclusive giving remedy. That in itself brings a cohesive society. That in itself brings people together to solve their disputes. In fact, they don't go, some of them might not go to court. So some of them will be handled on the spot. Depending on the level, some of them will go into some mediation, depending on the level, and some of the issues will now go to court. So that way you'll have brought harmony in society by reconciling people, mediating with the people, taking then those ones that go to court, and finally a reconciliation with the people because you have addressed their concern and you have reconciled and the company is running well and the job is going on well and the company does well because the name would be good that, okay, you have come to own and you have come to address.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, it will lead to prosperity of that company and then definitely leads to the economic pillars of this country.
Yeah.
That businesses must thrive, that businesses must be of economic value, but these businesses care about the people by addressing their concerns, by giving remedy, by creating a center to hear them. Can you see that? Already there is a good relationship between the people. There should be a good relationship between the people and the company, between those that have been violated. And now there is government to help you out, to help our business out, so that they come out strongly and within the law. Because it's also our business to maintain pace, to maintain the law, to make sure that everybody operates within the law. You're a company, you must perform. I saw yesterday the Honorable Joho stopped operations of Magadi for non-compliance. Magadi has been a big thing in Kajiado. I come from Kajiado. And you find they are not complying. That is what I saw yesterday. They are yet to probably, I'm sure by the time they suspend, they should have done some investigation. So these companies must be sustainable for the economic development of this country, but within our laws and within no violations for the same citizens that are supposed to be working. You can imagine if our citizens are oppressed because they are working in a certain institution. That should not be. And that is what this legal aid center in Kenol is about to address, that we can have companies that respect the people. We have companies that hear them, and they open social justice centers to hear them, so that then we don't have friction between the people and the institutions. Yes,
we are going to close this conversation with your message to the communities now, given that now tomorrow you're launching that National Legal Aid Service Center at Kenol.
Yeah, my message is the National Legal Aid Service is up and running. The National Legal Aid Service is under the Office of the Attorney General and State Department of Justice, where I'm PS. And the National Legal Aid Service is meant to be a service to help the people, to hear them, but not the rich. It is meant for the poor. That person that is unable to access justice. You have a court case, you don't know how, you don't even have fare, you've not gone to school, you don't even know how to handle it, you don't have money to pay any lawyer. The government has hired lawyers for you who is not able, for you who is oppressed and your rights have been violated, for you who needs that service. There is a legal aid center in our 47 counties with 2 lawyers in each of them. Please access justice. Government has paid for it. Government has given budget. Government is reaching out to you.
Thank you so much for making time to come and talk about this important aspect of access to justice, especially for those people that really need it. By the way, Madam PS, are you a fan of sports?
I used to be a sports lady, but
which sport was?
I used to do netball and basketball.
Oh, netball,
when I was in
basketball.
school until the other day when I was captain for the senators in the last parliament.
Wow.
For netball. So
You
I do a little bit of sports.
We have a ladies team, Harambee Starlets. They are playing tonight. They are playing Senegal tonight.
Wow.
At the WAFCON in Morocco.
I might have to watch.
Yeah, please support them.
I will support them.
They're representing the country there.
Yes.
And thank you so much for making time.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. That has been Honorable Judith Pareno, who is the PS State Department for Justice, Human Rights and Constitutional Affairs.